You don't need another investor, product, or pivot. You need perspective. Go for a walk, sit in silence, ask yourself, what would success look like if no one could see it? And question will reset you. It strips away the noise, the pride, the performance. It reminds you why you started Channon and what truly matters beyond the scoreboard. It's the hidden cost of success isn't money or burnout. It's the slow loss of self. And the founders who win sig are the ones who never stop returning to themselves. And every founder dreams of success. The first funding round, the viral product, the big revenue spike. But what if that very moment is your greatest danger, not your victory? We've all been trained to fear failure, to build systems that prevent collapse. But few talk about what happens when you actually succeed. Success feels intoxicating at first. You worked years for that yes from the market. But beneath that joy hides a trap, that silent. I call this the success paradox, the cruel irony that what makes you succeed early often becomes the reason you start to lose control as you grow. When your company wins too fast, your infrastructure is a technical, cultural, and personal can't keep up. You build a skyscraper on a wood. Early stage success always outpaces readiness. Your systems strain under pressure, but what breaks first isn't technology, it's the culture. Imagine building a small, beautiful cabin by the beach, then overnight deciding to turn it into a 10-story hotel. The foundation wasn't meant to carry that weight. And that's what rapid success does. You rush to scale, hire fast, expand everywhere mercilessly, but the core structure that once made you great begins to crumble under the weight. 3 hidden debts: technical debt, cultural debt, and spiritual debt. Each one silently drains your company's energy, but soulless. Technical debt is the visible one. Your scrappy early code, once clever and fast, starts breaking at scale. You patch, fix, and firefight instead of building new things. Then comes cultural debt, Deo, the invisible fracture. You start hiring too quickly. Competence becomes more important than alignment. The early magic fades. People who joined for mission now work for money. The original why of your company gets drowned in the noise of new voices and processes. But the deadliest debt is spiritual debt, the one the founder pays alone. You imagine success would bring freedom, and you go from creator to coordinator, from innovator to administrator. Every hour you once building turns into managing side. This is how companies become technically fine, financially stable, but spiritually empty. You stop building the future and start maintaining the present. Rapid success also forces an identity shift. You stop being the builder. You become a manager, then a traffic cop, guiding work instead of creating it. As a founder, your value shifts. You used to code, design, sell. Now your value lies in making decisions about other people's work. And that's where the crisis begins, Avance, the crisis of meaning. The work that once gave you energy is now delegated away. You're no longer building. And you start chasing new highs. Headlines, valuations, investor praise. You confuse motion with progress, speed with strength. Boredom breeds scope creep. You start new projects that don't fit your core mission. You convince yourself you're innovating, but really you're just distracting yourself from the emptiness. Boredom sets in. That's when the biggest mistakes are made. Boredom also breeds complacency. When things work well enough, you stop pushing. You stop obsessing over quality, and your competitors quietly catch up. And worst of all, boredom breeds emotional fatigue. When you've lost your connection to purpose, every meeting feels heavier. Every small problem feels like a crisis. Success also changes how people see you. You stop being the underdog and start being the boss. And that title isolates you more than you expect. But this is what I call the ego tax. It's the price of success you pay without noticing, yo. The slow erosion of self-awareness and humility. The moment you believe your success was inevitable, not fortunate, you stop being coachable. You stop listening. You stop learning. You assume being right once means you're right forever. The ego tax kills candor. Your meetings become echo chambers where no one challenges you. Bad news gets softened. Warnings get ignored, and the company loses its grounding. Meanwhile, your best people quietly lose faith. They stop speaking up. They start leaving. Not because of failure call, but because honesty stopped being welcome. Then comes isolation. Success traps founders in golden cages. You can't admit burnout or doubt without sounding ungrateful. You start wearing the mask of invincibility. You smile in interviews. You feel like a passenger in a rocket you no longer control. Isolation makes bad ideas multiply. You stop asking for help. You think you must have all the answers. And slowly, the company becomes a reflection of your unchecked assumptions. The third cost of ego is arrogance through diversification. You start expanding into areas you don't understand, thinking your past success automatically translates everywhere. You forget what made you great. You build products outside your core strength. You spend money solving problems no one asked for simply because you can. The focus that once made your product world-class dissolves into distraction. Suddenly, your flagship starts losing ground to hungrier,
Every empire that dies of ego follows this pattern, expanding faster than wisdom, diversifying faster than discipline, celebrating faster than reflecting.
Now, how can you tell you're entering this trap? The warning signs are subtle because they often appear while everything looks successful on the surface. The first sign, your meetings shift from strategy to status. You stop asking what's next and start asking, where are we on that? You're managing, not leading. The second step, audit your success story. Ask yourself, which parts were skill and which were luck? That humility resets your mind to curiosity instead of control. Now let's talk solutions difference, because awareness without action is useless. Escaping the ego trap starts with one uncomfortable shift. Humility isn't weakness, it's clarity. It's knowing you're not perfect, Chalab, but you're committed to learning. The best founders aren't confident in their genius, they're confident in their adaptability. The first step, relearn how to listen. Create real spaces where people can disagree with you safely. Reward honesty, even when it hurts your pride. The second step, audit your success story. Ask yourself, which parts were skill and which were luck? That humility resets your mind to curiosity instead of control. The third step, simplify your focus. Return to the original reason your company existed. Ego expands, wisdom narrows. The fourth step, redefine what winning means. It's not bigger teams, flashier offices, or endless growth. Real winning is because trust, once rebuilt, reignites innovation. When your team sees you're human, that's not infallible, they stop performing and start contributing. Let's be clear. Ego isn't a villain. It's a survival tool that helped you build confidence, but unchecked, it becomes your blindfold. And the bigger your company gets, the stronger that blindfold becomes. Your early humility becomes buried under praise, investors. Reality, however, doesn't care about your press. It only cares about customer value, team morale, and adaptability. Ego blinds you to all three until it's too late. So make ego your ally by containing it. Let it drive your ambition, not your decisions. Let it build confidence, not arrogance. Let it fuel, not rule. Here's a practical way. Schedule what I call a truth session. Once a month, gather your team and ask one question to Ted. What am I not seeing? So make ego your ally by containing it. Let it drive your ambition, not your decisions. Let it build confidence, not arrogance. Let it fuel, not rule. The real question we have to ask ourselves is why now? Why are we seeing this sudden surge of interest in these topics? I believe it points to a larval. Another exercise, rotate leadership temporarily. Let others run meetings or decisions for a week. Watch how they see The hardest step is internal Heinz, forgiving yourself for your ego moments. Every founder falls for it. What matters is catching it before it hardens into identity. Because ego isn't what ruins founders. Denial does. The ones who survive long-term aren't the smartest, they're the most self-aware. So how do you stay self-aware while leading? By surrounding yourself with truth tellers, not cheerleaders. Hire people who aren't impressed by you, Haas, but inspired by the mission. When someone dares to disagree, thank them publicly. Make that your culture. The more your team challenges you, the longer your company survives. Because truth is oxygen for growth.
Now let's talk about burnout, Tafe, the silent signal of ego-driven leadership. Burnout doesn't start with overwork. It starts with overcontrol.
You micromanage, you rewrite, you overthink, you do it all, but deep because you care. Fear that without your touch, things will collapse. That's the paradox. Ego tells you you're irreplaceable tall, but that mindset makes you replaceable faster because no company can scale if its founder refuses to let go. Real leadership isn't doing everything yourself. It's creating a system where things work even when you're not there. That's freedom, Plath, not failure. Let's go deeper, Xana, because ego doesn't only affect business. It quietly invades your personal life. Relationships shrink. Friends become distant. Every conversation. That's the heartbreak most founders never admit. You achieve everything you dreamed of yet somehow feel emptier. That's not depression. That's disconnection from purpose.
When your success story stops feeling exciting, it's time to evolve, not expand. Ask yourself, if I started today, would I still be building the same thing?
When your success story stops feeling exciting, it's time to evolve, not expand. Ask yourself, if I started today, would I still be building the same thing? First, you'll know you've chosen the right path when growth feels calm, not chaotic. When your ambition inspires others instead of exhausting them.
And suddenly, success stops feeling heavy. You stop chasing validation and start building legacy. You realize the goal was never more how, it was meaning.
You don't need another investor, product, or pivot. You need perspective. Go for a walk. Sit in silence. Ask yourself. So if you're listening to this right now and you feel that quiet fatigue that whisper saying, I'm losing myself, don't ignore it. That's your wake-up call. You don't need another investor, product, or pivot. You need perspective. Go for a walk. Sit in silence. Ask yourself, what would success look like if no one could see it? So let me tell you something I've learned the hard way. The real flex isn't scaling fast. It's staying sane while doing it. Peace is the ultimate profit. Meet two kinds of founders in your journey. those chasing the next milestone, and those building something that will still matter 10 years from now. Be the second kind. Hype fades, trends die, markets shift. But integrity, Seaman, that's forever. Build your name on that, and you'll never have to rebuild your company from scratch. No investor can buy peace of mind. No valuation can replace your health. And no exit can erase the regret of losing yourself along the way. So start leading differently. Not louder, not faster, but clearer. Build a company that reflects your values, not your insecurities. A company that grows because it's grounded. You can still chase growth gain, but make sure it's the kind that doesn't cost your soul. Scale your systems, scale your people, but most important, your ambition is hurting your relationships, your health, or your joy. It's not growth anymore, Toer. It's addiction. Success should feed you, not consume you. When you forget why you started Tlang, go back to the early days, the nights you worked alone, the people who believed in you before the world did.
And that version of you, what humble, hungry, grateful, still knows what matters. That's the founder who can rebuild anything.
Every great founder eventually realizes growth is not the goal, becoming is. You're not just building a company, you're building the person capable of leading it well. As you step into your next chapter, remember this, Rex. Success doesn't define you. How you handle success does. That's where real leadership begins. If this message resonated with you, Frels, share it with a founder who needs to hear it. Because sometimes the most powerful growth move is to pause and reflect.